Black Power. This past week, we learned more numbers regarding the genocide and gentrification that has been happening to eliminate blacks here in Los Angeles and many other major cities in the U.S. Numbers that show, how much of our population has been reduced over the last 20 to 30 years, but also how much of the potential growth was reduced. We also learned more about the aid packages that are now being dispersed to supposedly provide some type of assistance for all these things that have happened here in LA, specifically money concerning people who are homeless and people who may potentially be homeless, as a result of the gentrifying that's been happening. But too often, these monies are attained by a new generation of elitists. So that is something we most definitely want to prevent by encouraging more of you who are affected by these issues to come out here and learn more about what's going on, but also potentially put in your own bids for some of these grants. Pretty much in every area right now where we have people, you need to get involved with your neighborhood councils and other civic groups, civic associations who have relationships with City Hall and the county supervisors who may very likely be awarded these dollars. You most definitely need to have some input in the direction in which it's going to be used. Right now, we know housing is the most important. A lot of these groups are talking about facilities where they'll be able to, set up office and hire employees and again afford themselves more privilege and nice salaries and everything. But we need housing to get people off the streets, permanent housing, not just transitional housing where people can go stay for a few months and then got to meet all these requirements. But people need permanent housing to get established, to get grounded for some years and then, develop skills and trades to then go out there and potentially build on that. But again, the way these processes too often work out, it shows that that's not the case. A privileged few quite often gets the information, don't share with others, and, just secure their own position temporarily within our communities. As far as the genocide, again, this past week we saw a non-officer, a white cat, ex-military, or might have been active military, I'm not sure about that, but, he went to New York with the intentions to kill Black people and ended up actually stabbing a brother to death. So again, this shows not only with other people, because now we're seeing it's not just white folks, but we're seeing all types of other people now, again, disrespect us. But with other people, they see us as weak. They don't have any fear coming and carrying out these acts against us because they see victims after the fact want to forgive them. Their own people award them large sums of money, whether it's for their defense or putting it on their books, give them a celebrity status, but our folks want to forgive them and there's no real consequences. So again, that's why we have to get serious and identify others who are serious and support each other in defending and preserving our existence. Like I was saying, other people, last week it was a couple more Asian store owners, the Koreans with the beauty shop, and then there was another one down in New Orleans, a seafood spot I had actually went to and enjoyed their food many years ago. But the owner showed his ass. So again, right now is most definitely the time when we have to divest supporting all these other folks, and as they shut down, move out, we can open complementary or bigger and better businesses. But that has to start right now, because one of the things that is happening too often, people have these conversations, whether online or go to a meeting or a lecture or something, but then turn right back around and go give these folks your money. So again, that's insanity. All these other folks are showing us what time it is, but we still supporting the madness. We financing our own destruction. So, that's the level of consciousness we got to get to. Consciousness is not just about being informed, but it's actually developing a plan of action and then acting on it. Those are the more important components to consciousness as opposed to just being informed. Having all the information is of no use if it's not applied. As far as the gentrifying, again, putting out the call for folks who were displaced to other areas to look at linking up with family, friends, co-workers here still in the city and do as many other folks have done. Secure one spot, put in a pot until another spot can be secured and build from that. But also we have to start investigating and looking into the backgrounds of those who are moving into these areas, taking advantage of our displacement and identifying what are their sources of income. How can we sanction them? How can we divest from any businesses they may own or, where they may work, start targeting and reciprocating some of the financial hardships that were placed on us that makes it unaffordable for people to stay in our own communities. Looking at the renting situation is almost made impossible for people with jobs to, secure a place in LA and other big cities right now. As far as high rents, as far as qualifications people are looking at when you try to move in. But right now, there's also a movement to what they're calling make LA affordable. Right now, I've seen a lot of other people, but again, because this is something that affects us to a very high degree, whether we join in with that movement or build our own, make LA affordable, make all these areas affordable, that needs to happen like right now. One idea was for people to look at a month or two and not pay rent, not pay mortgages, and hold that money. So when you get taken into court, you can let it be known for political reasons you were not paying and then pay at a later date. But, some folks are saying that it's a lot of risk to that. But throughout our struggles, we have always had to take a lot of risks. And where those things may seem extreme, again, a lot of our ancestors back in the 60s, them sitting at an all-white lunch counter was considered extreme. And again, we're not trying to change conditions for integration. We're trying to change conditions for our own elevation. So all of these things we need to look at immediately and start moving on. As far as the prison situation, we see more cities are putting in place these review units to start releasing a lot of folks who have been wrongfully convicted. And again, on the surface, that sounds great. But what we're also seeing is none of the people who put them in these positions are being held accountable, whether we're prosecutors who maliciously prosecuted folks, whether we're judges who carried out miscarriages of justice. All of these things have to be looked into because, again, when a black person commits any level of crime, they don't just go and help the victim. They hunt down the so-called perpetrator and either kill him, kidnap him, or throw him on one of these prison plantations. So when things aren't being dealt with like that on an equal playing field, again, you have to see we are still being played, even though it would be great for a lot of folks who are being falsely in prison to come home. Most definitely we want that. But also we don't want it to be where next year, these same folks who threw them in prison are now throwing a whole new generation in prison for false reason. And quite often that will happen if the ones who are already doing that are not held accountable. As far as building up our businesses, most definitely that seems to be the one area where a lot of our folks are getting behind and getting into. Again, for those who are in position to trade and benefit off this movement, you are needed to reinvest back into the community, whether it's programs to assist folks, whether helping people out, who are going through financial difficulties, paying their rent, their mortgages, whether it's helping some of these ideas of building up our own schools, but whatever, this movement cannot be an opportunity for, again, a select few people to come up to the detriment of the collective body, because the body falls, y'all will fall too. So reciprocity right now with this business movement is most definitely needed. And I, for one, have enjoyed a lot of the ads and videos folks have been putting out, more so than this crap. They try to feed you on YouTube real quick when you trying to listen to your music. But brothers and sisters most definitely are showing the creativity. So all who are in financial position to support them, do so. And lastly, as far as our self-governance, all of these things play a factor in that, because politics is involved in all of this. But we have to completely let go of this illusion of a Republican or a Democratic representation, even when it's black faces. A lot of them were behind the same policies now that they're saying, is wrong. They supported them. So moving forward with the new generation of folks who are stepping up, being about their business, but also knowing that within these ranks, people are going to either be placed there who intentionally work to sabotage and co-opt our movement. Some folks are just embedded with these capitalist ideologies that will sabotage the movement and lead to selfishness and disruption. But over time, you will identify the ones who need more support, or even duplicate their movements and their actions, build on their movements and actions. But now is that time. Here in LA, we will be out in Leimert Park in a couple hours with the Break Bread program. But again, at this point, we need more of y'all to come out and stand with us as we fight to try to get some of this financial assistance for people, not just in this immediate area, but also our brothers and sisters down on Skid Row, all throughout the city, different areas. We most definitely are the people who need it, deserve it the most. And again, this is just crumbs considering the amount of devastation that has happened. But in the meantime, between time, we got to get it. We have moved forward with renaming our community Africa Town. Again, we hope to spread this through many areas throughout LA County, all the different cities, Inglewood, Compton, wherever, erecting Africa Towns in all of these areas where we still got high percentages of our people, but also in other states. Move forward and build your Africa Towns. Everybody else got their town, so most definitely that is how we moving forward. So we look to see all of y'all, come on out today. We also out there, comrades out there on Tuesday. But the next meeting we're looking at is not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, that first Monday in April. We will be with the Leimert Park Village stakeholders, and as the body of Africa Town, we will push to get this assistance for, our own people. All power to the people.